Black hand extortion was a criminal tactic used by gangsters based in major cities in the United States. In Chicago, black hand extortion began around 1900 and had all but faded away by 1920, replaced by the Mafia. The Mafia was initially organized by Johnny Torrio and further organized by Al Capone sometime later. Blackhanders in Chicago were mostly Italian men from Calabria and Sicilian men who would send anonymous extortion notes to their victims emblazoned with a feared old country symbol, the Black Hand. The Black Hand was a precursor to organized crime, Mafia, although it is still a tactic practiced by the Mafia and used in organized crime to this day. Black hand blackmail was also common in New York and New Orleans. Victims would pay up or be beaten, shot, or have their place of business bombed. Starting around 1909, the Black Hand was causing difficulties for mob boss Big Jim Colosimo, a former Black Hand gangster and owner of brothels throughout Chicago. In an effort to fix the problem, Colosimo recruited Johnny Torrio, a member of New York's Five Points Gang who would eventually become the famous successor of Big Jim Colosimo and then later mentor Al Capone as the organized crime ruler of Chicago. But originally Torrio came to Chicago to fix the problem of the Black Hand, which was threatening Colosimo's life with demands for cash to ensure his physical safety. Johnny Torrio Filippo Catalano, the notorious Johnny Torrio, January 20, 1882, April 16, 1957, also known as the Fox, was born Giovanni Torrio in Orsera di Puglia, a village in south-central Italy, was alleged to have killed 10 Black Hand gangsters in his first 2 months in Chicago. Of the 10 men he was alleged to have killed, Filippo Catalano was one of them. Filippo Catalano was an alleged Black Hand gangster in Chicago in the early 1900s decade. He was born in 1875, in Gioiatoro, a coastal village in southern Italy, in the region of Calabria, and he died on the 5th of June 1910, in Chicago, Illinois, from 5 gunshot wounds he received that evening. Catalano came to the United States and eventually he owned and operated a saloon in Chicago and was connected to the Chicago criminal nightlife. It was said of Catalano that he was hated and feared by his countrymen in the Italian colony, according to Captain Cudmore of the Chicago Police 3rd Precinct and the Central Detail as the investigator of his murder. Filippo Catalano was shot 5 times and died 1 hour later in the People's Hospital. Before he died, observing the gangland principle of omerta, total silence, Catalano never mentioned the name of his assailant. This was common for Italian Sicilian men not to identify their assailant to the police. Filippo Catalano was allegedly killed by Johnny Torrio, although a subsequent investigation turned up the name Eugenio Monaco, who may have been the triggerman working for Torrio. Black Hand assassination. One of the stories of assassination was told in the murder of Filippo Catalano. Catalano was in the Vesuvius restaurant, a restaurant frequented by Chicago's nightlife. On the night of June 5, 1910, as Catalano walked out from the restaurant at approx. 3 a.m. in the company of Edgar K. Accetta, a New York lawyer, who was in town on business, and a third man who was later identified as the person who shot Catalano, allegedly Eugenio Monaco, an Italian man. The 3 men were walking towards an approaching car when Monaco allegedly drew a revolver and shot Catalano 5 times. In an incident involving Catalano on March 27, Catalano was alleged to have shot John Giaco in front of 1821 South State Street. Witnesses identified Catalano as the shooter. The victim survived the shooting and would not prosecute. At that time Catalano was released. Catalano's killer escaped fleeing on foot and was traced to the Rock Island Pacific Railroad tracks where he disappeared. Filippo Catalano fits in the time period where Johnny Torrio came to Chicago to assassinate Chicago Black Hand gangsters who was extorting his uncle from 1909 to 1911. By 1920 Black Hand activity had all but faded. Johnny Torrio then went on to run and organize the Chicago outfit. Giordiani case. Another death was the death of Maria Giordiani. In the year 1911, Roman de la Rose, She was an Italian immigrant child only 4 years old. Her body was found on her bedroom floor. Her parents Riccardo Giordiani and Eleanor Giordiani were missing and never found. It is alleged that the Giordiani family had been targeted by the Black Hand. This case is in itself a mystery. Not much is understood about the death of the Fogies, although we've gained information about the Giunfi. It was found within the two-story home of the Giordiani family. Riccardo Giordiani is an Italian immigrant that managed to steal Eleanor's heart. She is believed to possess European origins, moreover making them an immigrant couple. They had given life to Maria, which was only 4 on the night the Black Hand Mafia was planning on taking the life of Mr. Giordiani. As much information that we could gather, they had targeted him as his debt from his close corporation had increased, and he was once a member of the Mafia at a young age thanks to his father and their immigration. We believe that Maria was targeted so as to frighten the adults. As planned, they fled their house as their beloved child had been shot. All that was found was a small doll. A book titled Roman de la Rose, https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/roman_de_la_rose, and a shawl that belonged to Mrs. Giordiani. Timeline: 1910. Chicago police arrest over 200 known Italian gangsters and known Black Hand members in a raid in Little Italy. However, none are convicted, as many of the notes of extortion threats cannot be traced to them. March 15, 1910. The Chicago Vice Commission, a civic organization to close the brothels and panel houses of the Levee District, is organized. 1910. Chicago racketeer Big Jim Colosimo brings his nephew Johnny Torrio, then with New York's 5 Points Gang, to Chicago to eliminate the Black Hand due to their extortion demands. Within a month, 10 Black Hand extortionists had been killed. 1910. Jim Cosmano, a major Chicago Black Hand leader, is severely wounded in an ambush by Johnny Torrio on a South Side bridge. Cosmano had previously demanded $10,000, threatening to destroy Colosimo's cafe. June 6, 1910. Filippo Catalano, an alleged Black Hand extortionist, is gunned down after leaving the Vesuvius restaurant. January 1. March 26, 1911. 38 Black Hand victims are killed by Black Hand assassins, many by the unidentified assassin known only as Shotgun Man, between Oak Street and Milton Street in Chicago's Little Italy. References: Chicago Daily Tribune, June 6, 1910. Chicago Daily Tribune, June 11, 1910. Sources: